Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hidden Agenda. I'm Thanasi.
I am Tony.
And we've got a special guest with us today. We've got the esteemed listener himself, George Wilson. How are you, George?
I'm very well.
Doing well?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've been listening to this show since the beginning, and I've always thought what you guys really need on this show to round it out is a software engineer who likes progressive rock.
Yeah.
Yes, get some new, different opinions in there.
We've got, this is, we really value diversity on this show. And so, you know, you were really a natural inclusion for us. Tony's lost it already.
Oh, this is going to be a great episode. I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah, this one's going to be good.
This is going to be a good one. Before we jump into the topics, if you want, I've got, we've got an esteemed listener, George, here.
Yes.
Which means that there is actually no esteemed listener listening now.
That's right.
We are down an esteemed listener for this episode.
He is listening.
But he's also contributing.
Yeah, that's true. So we are down an esteemed listener.
Yes.
So if you'd like to be our esteemed listener today,
if anyone else wants to email in,
send us an email.
The ratings on this one are going to take a real dent, I think.
By one,
yes.
Yeah, which is, about 40%. So,
that's not it. That doesn't even fit nicely into 100. I have a theory.
Yep.
I want to run this theory. This is just a little theory I came up with last week.
Immediately with the theories, yep.
Apparently, you get referred to a lot as George Wilson.
Oh,
That's
yes.
correct.
Yes.
Now, I have a theory that in order for the full name moniker to take place, you need to have a 3-syllable name.
Or less, I suppose.
Or less.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so how do you feel about that?
Do you reckon, is this an accurate theory?
It could be. It's mainly Thanasi who uses the full name situation.
So it's not universal.
I don't think it's universal. Some people do it. Right. You're welcome to. You don't have to. There's no pressure to do so.
I feel like calling you George Wilson. You feel like a full name kind of guy to me.
All right. I'm a full name kind of guy then.
I've got good news, by the way.
Yeah?
I figured out which microphone that is.
Cool.
Was he not audible?
He was, but there was a bit of echo from that one as well. So I fixed it. It should sound a lot better now.
All right, awesome.
Shall we get right into it?
Let's bust this one wide open.
We've got a cracking show for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, that came out all wrong. Go ahead, Tony, save me.
All right, item number 1 on the agenda for this week.
On the hidden agenda.
On the hidden agenda. I was reminiscing, dwelling, as I often do, on the past, and I was... Well, you can't dwell on the future.
I mean, you could.
I do all the time.
What would it look like, though?
Well, you can't reminisce on the future. You can dwell, but you can't reminisce.
10 seconds into a tangent. Anyway.
And I was reminded of a time, it was me and a bunch of friends, and we wanted to get into this sort of bar club thing. Mm. We're in the line, we get to the front, the bouncer's there. The bouncer asks the questions to determine who gets in the club. The question normally is just, how many drinks have you guys had tonight?
Sure.
And we got to the front of and the bouncer said to us, "What are your plans?" And we were all sort of stumped by this question. We sort of looked at each other like, plans? And then eventually one of us said, we want to go in and have a drink. That's
the plan.
That's the plan.
I have the schematics right here.
And he said, "Nah, you're not getting in."
What?
I don't think he liked our plan. And
but your plan was the same as everybody else's. What did everyone else answer?
Well, I don't know. But I was sort of thinking about that lately. Like, what is your plan?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that kind of is like, a bouncer's job is to make sure that desirable people are in the establishment and that undesirable people are not in the establishment.
They frequently do a poor job of that.
But I think they're almost doing the opposite of that.
I think really that's officially their job, but that's not what they do.
Well, I think that's what this guy was like, taking bouncing to a new level.
Bouncing just really seriously.
Yeah, by employing, because another job that has the same sort of, I guess, goal is people that hire people who do job interviews.
Yes, people that are hiring people into the company.
Yeah, their job is to make sure that only desirable people come into the thing. And
exactly,
to me, it was like he was just sort of what is your plan?
It's a job interview.
Yeah.
You're being job interviewed by a bouncer.
Yeah, but why don't more bouncers just do job interviews.
Where do you see yourself in 5 hours?
Where do you see yourself in 5 hours? Exactly.
Well, the correct answer, the real answer is probably in that gutter over there. But the answer I'm going to give you is at home safely in bed.
Yeah, but you want people who will lie, who are creative enough to lie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the idea being, of course, that if you're too drunk, you'll probably say something stupid like dead in that gutter, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my thought, is just up the bouncing game by doing interview questions.
See, I think one of the central problems with discussing this topic is you don't want to kind of set a foot wrong. Bouncers being the kind of people that have a lot of practice at removing people from places.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't want to start making comments about why sort of bouncers generally don't do this more, right?
Are you suggesting that enough bouncers listen to this show that I could come into some problems? I think we're right.
You know what? Come to think of it, given that 40% of our audience are sitting in the studio today,
Yeah, I think
we're probably okay.
But I was thinking, if you guys are okay with this, we could do a little experiment.
Yep.
You guys are going to try and get into my
Club.
and I'm going to ask you some questions. Mm-hmm. And we'll see if I let you in at the end.
All right. Shall we go with George first?
Well, do you want to go as a group together?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the two of us
Have
the
just
two of
rocked
us
up
are
your
coming to-
establishment.
Yes.
Yes.
You want to get in?
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yes, we'd like to get in.
All right, guys, tell me a little about yourselves.
Well, my during the day I work as a software developer, and right now I'm just out here trying to have a good time with my friends.
Oh, nice. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm also a software developer.
Right.
I don't work with Thanasi, but I went to uni with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm also trying to have a good time with my friends.
And I assure you we're harmless.
Why would you feel the need to mention that?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
moving along.
Do we? Yeah. Go on.
Actually,
What's the next question?
Where do you see yourself in 30 minutes' time?
Well, hopefully inside having a drink.
I would be ordering my third drink.
Wow, that's a good answer. See, I like that.
Okay.
See, he's money. Money is being spent.
Okay.
But also, third, that's pretty... Are you going to handle that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm
good.
It's 10 minutes apart. That's all right.
All right, guys, you're doing well. I just want to know, why do you want to be in this bar in particular?
I'm drawn to the particular aesthetic of this establishment.
Yeah,
I find it quite interesting.
Yeah, can you
attractive.
elaborate? And
Well, that would rely a lot upon this scenario having been fleshed out to the point where I know what this establishment looks like. But the kind of place I'd like to go, I suppose, is, just kind of like nice, relaxed atmosphere and fun people without too much trouble. It's very attractive to me.
I've always felt as though this particular establishment was aligned with my core values.
oh,
He's just much better than me at this. He's just... How?
core values.
See, here's the problem, though, right? It's like, do I sound like I'm talking down, whereas he doesn't? Is that the problem here?
I think a little, yeah.
Do I think, because I just realized I think I probably sound like I'm talking down,
Yes.
whereas he's almost talking up.
Yeah.
Right?
He's sycophanting a lot better.
Yeah.
Between
my
the two of us,
interview
we're talking right
mode.
down the middle, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the average is not particularly leaning either way.
Exactly.
All
Right?
right, guys, I'm liking some of you. You're doing all right. Just
Unfortunately, I do have to mention that we are a package deal.
Okay.
Take that into consideration.
I am prepared to just be quiet from this point if you'd prefer.
Well, any questions for me at this time?
What kind of person do you want in your establishment?
What kind of person do I want? The kind of person that I guess provides stimulating conversation, spends a lot of money on alcohol, and doesn't then punch people.
Yeah.
And just generally people that make other people want to come here.
Well, please, George.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I've got a question as well. Does this establishment only operate in the domestic market, or do you go international as well?
We have a healthy clientele from people that are overseas travellers, but mainly domestic.
Would you be looking to expand into the international market?
Yes, I would.
Yeah, all right, cool. That's good to know.
As in setting up a bar overseas?
That's right, setting up
Oh, no, that seems like a lot of effort. I'm just a bouncer. These questions are over my head.
I normally interview at software companies. It's a much more relevant question.
I will say, though, as software developers, particularly coming back to your point about people that will spend money, having been in the industry for a few years, we do okay. So in that sense, we would be prepared to spend quite well. Quite lavishly, even.
Okay. Boys, come on in.
We did it, George.
Yeah, we're in.
We're in.
That's all I really...
I think... I like it. I suspect it would be somewhat inefficient.
It depends on the length of the line, I suppose.
Yeah.
How many drinks you had is a very quick question.
You're going to get to the point...
the core.
You're going to get to the point where, I got a lot of positions open. There's a lot of people applying to get in. I'm going to need to just find a way to get through this list as quickly as possible.
But then
you're
why
going to start dropping questions, right?
But can't you just do that with job interviews as well? How many drinks have you had? 6. It's too many. It's too many for a job interview.
Man.
Get out.
But I guess kind of what I'm saying is that how do we know that bouncers didn't start with a process like this and ended up cutting it down to how many drinks have you had simply because there were too many applicants?
I guess we don't know. I don't know the history of bouncing.
Exactly. Right. There would have been a time where there would have been fewer people going into these establishments. They might have had a chance to ask more. These days, just like, I haven't got time for this. I just got to get people in here. We've got a lot of jobs to fill, man, and there are too many applicants, right?
Yeah.
We just got to get them through the door. Have you got money? Yes, you're in. Do you look completely dead drunk? No, you're in. Kind of thing. I feel like if a bouncer had the perfect job conditions, they would do a job like that. They want to.
Well, maybe you just need to sign up earlier in advance to get into the bar then, so you're not standing out in line.
I believe strongly that bouncers really want to vet their clients more, particularly, but they can't.
Right.
But I don't know. I like the idea. I like the idea a lot. The interrogation at the door.
Not interrogation.
It is an interrogation.
It's not.
It is.
It's finding
That's
out...
what a job interview is. It's an interrogation. It's just nobody uses that word.
Yeah, but it's a friendly interrogation.
And it's a two-way interrogation as well.
That's true.
It is literally just like we've got 45 minutes to decide whether we want to work for each other, right? So I need to get the pertinent information we need to get the pertinent information out of each other as quickly as possible.
If you did bounce in that style, I wonder if you would end up with an establishment full of, career climbing,
just
folks who are all just networking and
you just end up with a conference.
But you did a conference.
Yeah. What do you drink? Well, I'm on beer at the moment, but I hope to be on to whiskey.
I'm looking to expand and learn.
I'm expanding my market.
Yes. Well, we do have a good selection of whiskies.
We have a good selection of whiskies, and if you're feeling particularly adventurous, we've got cocktails.
Yeah.
Cocktails. I like it.
I don't have much more to add to that.
No?
I just thought it was weird that, I feel like bouncers interview. Take the time.
You know what? I'm going to follow up on this one. I have a friend that's a bouncer, has been for years and years. He isn't at the moment. He's a shopping mall security guard now, but for many, many years he was a bouncer. I'll ask him.
Okay.
I'll ask him if he thinks that would be a good thing to do.
Or
whether he'd like to do that.
Even if he just varied the questions up, I'd be interested. What's your plan, guys? I thought it's a beautiful question that stumped us all. We were not expecting that.
How drunk were you?
Not very.
Not very?
No,
Yeah, okay,
we were just like, what's it? The plan is obvious, surely.
Because I imagine the point of that question is just really just to if you're drunk, there's two things that could happen. You're expecting to hear how many drinks have you had, and you just say, they say, what's the plan? And you say 6, right? And then they know
you're
out of here. Or if you take too long to answer, you're also out of here.
Yeah,
right?
we took too long to answer.
Yeah, and didn't let you in. So
No.
it's a bad plan.
It's not a bad.
You need to come prepared with the PowerPoint slides, the talking notes.
Are you saying we didn't want to get into that bar enough?
You needed a graph.
You should have brought a reference from the bar down the street.
Right? Yeah.
You should have got them to call one of your friends and just give you a character reference.
Yeah. Yeah. We failed. We failed that night.
Yeah. You did. Reminds me of a similar story. I don't know if I've told it on the show or not, but I lost a lot of weight. Have I told this one on the show?
No,
I'll need to know more of the story.
Okay, yeah, cool. So I lost a whole bunch of weight sort of 4 or 5 years ago, and there was a night where I was going
Yes,
out.
you have told the story.
I don't even know what the story is.
It's the one where
The story is the guy didn't believe that it was Thanasi in the picture.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because my wallet had been stolen.
That was a recent episode,
Was
I
it
believe.
last week?
I don't know.
I think it was last week.
That's amazing that George knows more about this show than I do.
I told you, he's more invested in this show than we are.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway.
Wow.
Is that it for that one?
That's it.
All right, here.
Here.
All right, let's get on to item number 2. I want to talk about... It's a complicated one, right? So, well, actually, no, it's not really that complicated, come to think of it. But you call up... So we still live in a world where, oftentimes software or things that you buy or whatever, it sort of doesn't work that well. It's a lot better than it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but in general, you'll still run into these crappy web apps thrown together by some hack that barely works, right? And I say that as a software developer as well as a consumer. But the problem with that is that occasionally you end up in a situation where, as much as you don't want to, you need to call for phone support. Mm-hmm. The online support just isn't cutting the mustard, all right? And this doesn't happen very often anymore, thankfully.
Well, they make it very difficult to happen.
But the problem is that when it does happen, if you do get to the point where you need to make a phone call, about half the time, there's no public phone number these days, right? Because they have placed all their faith in their wiki to solve all my problems, right? Or their whatever, their big online website with all their, like, you type, my thing is broken, and they go, we'd like you to look at these articles before you bothered calling us. You know that thing?
Yep.
Right. Anyway, you do finally find a phone number. I needed to call Officeworks about something a couple of weeks ago. You finally find the phone number. Now, with Officeworks, finding the number isn't too bad. But you ring up. First of all, I tried to contact the actual store that I needed to interact with. And incidentally, that was the first time I've had a phone call go on to the point where I hung up before it rang out. It will sit there on actual ring, the ring, 5.5 minutes before I gave up. It didn't ring out. I just gave up on it, right? They just weren't answering. I tried 3 more times. I lasted 3.5 minutes the next 2 times, and I was just like, nah. So I called the central thing, right? I call them. I get through their 50,000 options, right? So to get to the point where I'm on the phone to a person. But, of course, while I'm on hold, I've got the canned messages going, right? Which is often ads. But in the case of Officeworks was about 5 minutes of, have you tried our website? It's a lot faster for you to get help on our website.
Oh, no.
Please don't call us. We'd rather you go to it was basically that. The whole thing there were 15 different versions, and they were just playing on loop, and the whole thing amounted to, can you just piss off and use the website already? We don't want to talk to you. Right? There's a couple of problems with that. One, the website doesn't work. And not only does the website not work, they literally had a banner on their website that says, our tracking is broken, please call us. Right?
But the number wasn't in the banner, of course.
The number wasn't in that banner, right? So then you call them, and you sit on hold, you get 10 minutes of try our website. Did you know that you don't have to call us to place orders? Did you know that you can get support on the website? Did you know that you can do this and the website? That plays out for a while. And then they put on a 30-second jingle on a loop for the next 15 minutes before someone picks up the phone. Right? What is the purpose? This is the thing. They've created this perfect paradox. They don't want me to call them, but their website doesn't work. I try to go to their website to get help and it doesn't work, so I need to call them. So we're both in a situation where neither of us wants to interact with each other in the way that we've been forced to. Right?
Yes.
I'm sick to death of it. I can't stand it anymore. Look, 95% of your customers are going to your website. That probably means you can afford to pay 5 people to man the phones for the 1 in 100 times where your piece of crap website doesn't work. Why do I need to hear the bugger off and use our website message and then 15... Oh man, I'm getting so angry. I'm getting so angry just remembering this whole situation. It's the most preposterous thing. They don't want to help me, right? They don't want to help me. I understand that that's like the perfect model of business, right? Don't help anyone because it costs money to help people.
Yeah.
Fine.
Taking money, that doesn't cost any money.
No, exactly.
But
right?
Spending money to help people, that costs money.
Here's the thing. You spent $5 million on your wiki. It doesn't work. You don't need to spend $5 million on phone support, people. You can pay them minimum wage, right?
But there must be a percentage of people who drop out and go, bugger this, I'm not... And then then they go away. And
I've got no doubt that the 5 minutes of canned messages and the 15 minutes of the jingle on loop is completely a strategy.
It's a dark pattern.
Yeah, there's no chance in hell that there wasn't someone available for 15 whole minutes to take that call. It's impossible, right? It is, because the only people calling Officeworks are people that don't know how to use a computer and are buying their pencils for their office over the phone, right?
I need my pencils.
That's right.
No one does that.
It is. It's some office administrator that's 15 years past the retirement age that doesn't understand computers.
Surely
that's
you
ordering
just drive
stationery
in
for the
and
office.
buy the pencils.
They don't.
Why?
I don't know. I've met people that place orders with Officeworks over the phone, and every time I've just been like,
Really?
dude, why? Yes.
And so when you call up to place an order, they'll answer the phone.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, the sales team.
Because
The
there's a
sales team are on
separate
it.
exactly. It's press 1 for sales, press 2, blah, 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 press 9 for support, right? Support is last. It wasn't quite 9, but, it was the last option.
6 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it was. It was the last option. You press that one, and you just get you don't even get a bring. You just get off the phone. Immediately. Immediately get off the phone. I hate it.
I've recently cancelled an internet service.
Sure, how did that go?
It was pretty painless, but it was interesting because, to sign up for this thing, I didn't have to speak to any humans. And then I went online, I'm like, surely there'll just be a cancel account, close account. Nah. So I sent off an email, because I don't want to speak to people.
No,
I sent off an
no,
email.
I don't either. That's the thing. I never want to speak to a support person. They're unhelpful 140% of the time.
Or just any human on the phone.
Well, yeah.
I hate speaking to people on the phone. I don't know.
Tony really hates it.
The disembodied voice just freaks me out.
Whereas I prefer it over text message.
No.
But you're on the radio.
Yes, but I don't like the visual. Actually, the podcasting is...
you shot yourself in the foot there.
I haven't.
Because you are a disembodied voice.
Let me dig myself out.
All right.
The disembodied voice, when I'm listening to a podcast, is not talking to me. It's talking to other people. It's like eavesdropping. I'm fine with eavesdropping. I'll stick my ear up to a wall and listen to someone else's conversation, but I don't want to have a conversation with someone I can't see. That's weird.
Why?
I don't know. I just find it weird.
Well, how is it any different to having a conversation over text message?
Because that's like written correspondence.
Yeah.
I know a lot about correspondence, and that is
you do know a fair bit
correspondence.
about correspondence. But, look, there's a difference between sending an email and sending a text message, right?
Yes.
Text message,
Yep.
there's a sense of urgency. There's a sense of, an ongoing conversation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'd say so.
other than just being in text rather than over voice, there's still a disembodied conversation going on.
But it's not like...
Yeah, no, it's when you're getting someone's voice, you're used to getting that along with a bunch of nonverbals, right?
True.
And
Oh,
with text, you're used to getting it as text, right?
Yes.
I'm not used to having,
But there's even less context in text than there is in voice.
Yeah, but you're used to text not having nonverbals
Yeah,
in it.
okay, yeah.
You're not used to voice not
I can't
having...
argue with that.
You're not,
You're right.
Yeah. How am I standing when I said that, right?
Yeah.
Am I looking directly at you or whatever? That bit's all missing, and you're expecting it to be there.
If I normally got a text message and looked up, and the person who sent me the text message was looking angry at me or something, and then one
You
day
might
that stopped
reconsider
happening,
your response.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then I'd be like, I don't like text. It's weird. I can't see the person looking happy or sad or whatever.
But I guess this is the problem, is just even though voice is disembodied, there is still some context for me to work out what's going on, right? I can
There is.
get
There's
tone, I can
tones
get
and-
cadence, I can get everything. Whereas over text,
You
there's
can't get everything.
Well, no, I can get everything that's related to the voice. I can't get body language and various other things, right? But I'll pick up whether there's the pace is weird or their tone is weird, or you can get all that over a text message. Just cool, this person just sent 5 words. They could have 14 different emotions behind them, and I don't know which one it is. I have to infer that from the context of the rest of the conversation, and that would be fine if people were sane, but they're not, right?
But the good thing about text as well is there's now a paper trail. Yeah, I'll get this thing sorted next week. Bang.
Well, how do you feel about read receipts then?
I don't like them, but at
Yeah,
least...
I don't like them either. They're no good.
So, but we had we signed up for hard rubbish, and again, I didn't want to talk to anyone, so I went online to the council. I'd like hard rubbish, please, and I got.
You'd like to get some hard rubbish?
Well, I'd like to book a hard rubbish pickup.
Yeah.
And got a phone call that I didn't
want.
Well, I didn't answer.
Yeah. Oh, right, yeah.
Well, I don't know if I don't know the
And
number.
the booking never went through.
No, it did. They left the thing. They said, "Yeah, hello. We've booked you in. Just leave your stuff out here on the 19th, and it'll be picked up on the 20th."
All right.
And I'm like, cool. If that message gets deleted and she's wrong or something, and I've just put a bunch of rubbish out on the side,
You get a fine.
yeah, I can't. Oh, there was a message. It's gone from the phone. It's so ethereal that information.
I think you're grasping at straws a little bit.
I'm saying if it was an email, if it was a text, I'd be able to say, look, I'm not going to pay this fine. I was told someone was going to pick this up.
You're kind of grasping at straws, though, the accidentally deleted voicemail.
Well, I think my voicemail, after a week
or something,
it deletes anyway.
Yeah.
Do you check your messages often enough for that not to be a problem, or is that the problem?
Well, I check the message when I get it, and then because I don't get a lot of messages.
Just save the message.
I don't save the message though.
Why not?
Because I've got the information, and then I'm going to go off and act on it.
Okay.
I don't keep the evidence of I don't just have hey, we're going to meet you at the cinema at 10 from 3 years ago saved on my phone. That's a useless message to keep now.
Yeah, true. I suppose then you've got to go back and delete it, and it's the whole thing.
Exactly.
So, George, you were going to say something?
Oh, no, I realised it wouldn't work. No,
okay.
Here's what I was going to say. Right?
Okay, yeah,
which
please.
is, so I don't know anything about Victorian law, and I know almost nothing about Queensland law, but I do know that you can record any conversation as long as one person in the conversation agrees for the conversation to be recorded. So
I think that's the case here as well. I'm not sure, though.
So you can record phone calls as long as you consent to have the call recorded, right?
Yep.
But it was a voicemail, so what are you going to do, hold a microphone up to the phone, or
No, I think there's an implied level of, when you leave somebody a voicemail, you consent to your recording being saved, right?
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's an interesting point. But I think if you're at the point where you're leaving a voicemail, you can probably safely assume that that's going to get saved somewhere for someone else to listen to. Then again, who knows with the way software systems are there, and particularly with PBXs. I had a friend that worked with telephone stuff, and he's just like, no, the whole thing's just a gigantic disaster.
Everyone says that about whatever they work on.
Yeah, I know. It's because it's true, though. All software is bad software.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100%
Apparently
true.
Doom is really well written. Doom and Quake.
Well,
and they're open source, so you can go and look at them, right?
And Carmack is one of his heroes.
Carmack's a legend, man.
Yeah, Carmack's one of his heroes. What was it? The fast square root?
That wasn't him, but that was in the Quake code base. That was in the Quake code. Yeah.
But apparently so. Yeah, I've heard that too. I haven't looked at the code, but Microsoft recently open sourced the MS-DOS 1.0 code and Word 1.0 and stuff. Just all the comments are full of just we're gods and stuff. Just these stupid hacks, and someone at Microsoft thinks they were just real cool.
Hang on, so the free open whatever software thing, they want Windows 7, and they've just recently done MS-DOS.
Yeah.
We've got a ways to go there.
Yeah, it's a little bit far off.
Yeah. Probably not as far as you'd think. Once they get to NT,
exactly, pretty much. What do you reckon? Is that it for that topic?
Yeah.
I think so. Here on that one?
Here.
Let us go to... What have we got?
Do we have an ad?
No. It's just station IDs again.
God damn it.
It'll happen one day. It'll happen. Well, remember, don't forget, if you want to advertise on our show, send us an email at thehiddenagendapodcast@gmail.com with the subject line, I like your style, boys.
As George once did.
You didn't put up my ad.
Well, you didn't give us you got to give us the ad to put up as well. Look, if you wanted host read content, you got to give us the copy, man. You can't just,
Oh no, but they can also just start a discussion.
True.
I don't think they need to provide the finished. We just get the ball rolling, the wheels moving.
That's true. I want to do as little work as possible on this show. It's hard enough for me to be here every weekend, let alone actually deal with.
This is a bit of an imposition on your life, is it?
No. But you know what I mean? It's just if you want ads on our show, look, we're cheap, dude. But you gotta do the copy.
What's the thing? Golden handcuffs or something?
Golden handcuffs.
This thing has become like a...
Oh, yeah, something like that. Yeah. Well, it would be golden if we were making anything out of it.
Yes. It's just literal handcuffs.
It's just handcuffs, yeah. It's just handcuffs out the golden.
The show is just literally handcuffing me to this time slot.
All right, we'll be back in 25 seconds.
Fresh Radio. Η καλύτερη ραδιοφωνική συντροφιά στο σπίτι, στη δουλειά και φυσικά στο αυτοκίνητο. Fresh Radio. Γιατί απλά δεν μπορείς να αντισταθείς. Η ραδιοφωνική καρδιά της πόλης χτυπά μόνο εδώ. Στον Fresh.
We're back. Back in a big way. Back in a huge way. Anyway, I'd like to just say, yeah, I know, right? It's just, yeah. Hello to everybody that has said hello. Hello from all the corners of the earth. A lot of people from Greece. There's somebody from Brazil listening today.
Oh, really? Cool.
There is. So,
did they move from Greece to Brazil?
I've got no idea. The comments in Greek, so I imagine they're at the very least an expat.
Okay.
I don't know. But hello to Brazil, to Hanya in Crete, and to everybody listening in Melbourne. Someone's written a comment in Spanish, and there's a Mexican flag on it, so I'm going to assume Mexico. So,
right.
But anyway.
But you don't know what that comment says.
The comment says, well, there's a bit in Greek, and it says Buenos dias, chicos, which I guess means hello, boys? I've got no idea.
Buenos dias is hello.
It is.
I learnt that from Grim Fandango.
Buenos dias is good afternoon.
I would say good day.
Good day?
Well, it's a greeting. I know that much from Grim Fandango.
It is a greeting, yeah. But anyway, yes, hello to everyone watching. Now, shall we move on to the guest item?
Guest item,
Esteemed
my first
listener,
ever item
George.
on the agenda.
Your first item on the agenda. What do you got?
Of many?
All right.
Oh,
Hopefully of many.
Well,
I've
pretty
started
much.
keeping a list.
Put it this way. Anytime George is in Melbourne, we need George, right? So,
and the once a year-ish that I'm in Melbourne, I'm happy to be
hey,
on
that's
the show.
that's one less show we've got to do one topic on. You know, that's one less topic that
It's
we
a
need
saving
to do.
of half a topic a year each.
It's exactly right.
All right, my topic for my item.
Your item for the.
I couldn't be on the show without making that mistake.
you got that mistake's mandatory.
That's mandatory, right? And we have to forget to say here on this one.
That's right. Yes.
But my agenda item is the following phrase, right?
Oh, here we go.
Hang on. Back up a sec.
Okay.
We all enjoy consuming media.
Right.
Media is a big part of everyone's life, I think.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say that.
I don't like where this is going. Yep, go on.
The following phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. The book was better. We as a society have accepted this as universal truth.
Because it is, though.
Is it?
It is not.
It is.
We have accepted this, and it does not apply in all cases. I deal with a lot of this because many of my favourite things are based on books. And I've come to you with some examples today to disprove this false thing.
Blow me the hell out right here.
Now, I don't hate books, right? I like books. I read some books.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah.
I like other kinds of media as well.
Certainly.
Right, so here's an example. One of my favourite films, Master and Commander, 2003, Russell Crowe. It's about boats.
Great film.
Great film.
It is about boats.
It is about boats.
Rather large boats.
Oh yeah, tall ships.
Yeah.
So I was talking to someone and we talked about movies and I was like, oh, Master and Commander. And the guy was like, no, dude, you got to read the books. They're way better. You have to. They're amazing, right? I'm like, all right. That's interesting. Yep. I'm not sure if you understand why I enjoy films, but I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
I read the first book, and I am going to keep reading, but I read the first book, and I was like, yep, that was pretty good, but wasn't in surround sound.
Yeah, but as we've established on the show earlier...
See, I'm also fighting that point. I've just come in with all my knives out, right?
This guy's come in ready for a blue.
Battle, yeah.
Yeah, this guy...
He sided with me on the disembodied voice.
He did.
Yeah.
But, no, who gives a crap about surround sound?
Yeah,
I do. It's awesome.
I'm with Tony.
With Master and Commander, which, by the way, won the Academy Award for Best Sound Editing and the BAFTA Award for Best Sound Editing.
Yeah, I know.
It had the sounds of creaking wood and cannon fire.
In 7 channels, I know.
No, in 5.1 only. Yeah, it was only 5.1.
Only 5.1.
Not
That's
7.2.
fine,
that's enough. That's good.
I mean, 7.2 or bust, man.
Yeah. Anyway, so...
I mean, well, yeah, that's the reductio ad absurdum.
Yeah.
Why not just have more surround?
They're doing that. That's the thing.
Why not have ceiling
11.6.
They're doing ceiling speakers. That's a real thing.
11.6 is what I want.
Yeah.
No one's going to do that.
So I say I read the book. I actually listened to the audiobook. It
Well,
was
that
in
could have
mono.
been. It could have been in surround sound.
It wasn't. It was in mono.
I mean, it's a voice.
I haven't seen a film in mono for years.
Have you ever read or listened to... when you listen to an audiobook, do you say you've read the book?
I struggle with this question.
Yeah.
I don't. I say I've listened to...
Do you say you've listened to the book or listened to the audiobook of the book?
I usually say... I don't... Look, the phrase doesn't come around enough that I need to shorten it so much. So I say I listen to the audiobook of...
See, because
blah, blah, blah,
I've
blah, blah.
started listening to audiobooks recently, and I struggle with this a lot. Because when someone says, have you read this? I reflexively answer yes, and then I go, well, actually, I listened to the audiobook.
I would just go straight in with, I've listened to the audiobook. I don't know, to me I feel like that is a lesser
I honestly feel like people look down on audiobook listeners.
I kind of agree. I feel like there's those sort of
It's
reading
just
purists.
Yeah.
No, it's great. I get the tones of voice.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like audio, look, it depends on the delivery. It depends a lot on the delivery as well. I've heard audiobooks which were fantastic. I've heard others which were not awful, because in the general case, it's at least still a good narrative and whatever. But the delivery was kind of flat and boring. That's happened a few times as well. But have you ever? I was going to ask you all that. I was going to ask you, have you ever heard an audiobook that had like sound effects and other stuff,
like a tiny little bit,
full on? Like, because I listened to one audiobook, it was some sci-fi novel. I don't remember which one it was, but like. You know, they'd say like he fired his laser gun, and you hear like a pew.
Okay, like the old radio serial kind of thing, right?
It was exactly like a radio show, and it was like, yeah, that's cool. That's a different experience.
I listened to the audiobook of Dune, which was very well read, and it had a bunch of voice actors doing some of the characters.
Yeah.
Like the main
Actual
character had
voice
his own.
actors. Yeah.
I don't know, maybe, but the main character had his own voice actor.
They had
that wasn't
separate
the narrator
voices for everyone. Yeah.
The thing is, only in important scenes.
Oh.
So, if the narrator is reading as the protagonist, this isn't going to be very important.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So you can just skip that whole...
Yeah, and I loved Master and Commander, the book, right? For a very different reason. It taught me a lot of cool things about boats that the movie didn't teach me. But it didn't have any sound. It also didn't have Russell Crowe in it.
I mean, you know.
He's great.
Yeah. Wait, am I thinking... Oh, I'm thinking of Mel Gibson. No, you're good.
No.
I'm good. You're good. What I was going to say is See, I take a different angle on this. So I don't consider the actual specifics of the medium whatsoever. When I say a book is better than a film, I'm talking purely in how they presented the narrative, right?
There are many ways to enjoy something, though.
No, I know. And so I'm saying that, like, when I use that phrase, I'm talking purely about how the narrative was presented. Otherwise, yeah, they're completely different. It's like apples and oranges. You can't compare a book to a film in any way except how it presents the narrative, right? So when I say that, I definitely am talking about how I enjoyed the actual story itself, completely disconnected from any other part of the medium. And in general, I found that... Yeah,
you're not saying that the sound design in the book is better than the sound design in the movie.
I'm saying that the way that the story was presented in the book was more enjoyable to me than the film.
Yeah.
I can only think of one case, actually, where, as a whole, I enjoyed the film more than the book, and that was The Godfather. But other than that,
I've got another example from a different medium.
Yep, go on.
All right, my favourite musical is Les Mis.
Okay.
So I went to read the book.
It's dreadful.
Well, it's extremely long,
yes.
for one thing. If you go to the Wikipedia list
tedious,
of, really, really long books, it's in there with War and Peace and all those.
Let me backtrack and say that dreadful may have been the wrong word, but it is very difficult to read. It's endless.
It is endless, and it will often just say, like... Oh, I'm going to just put in a chapter of the history of the Napoleonic War, not related to anything going on in the narrative, just so you guys know. You know,
I don't buy into the hype.
So, so I've started reading it, right, and I got 5% of the way through. That's an exceptional amount of book. That's like a book.
Yeah, I think I got about halfway.
Far out, that's far. Anyway, look, my point is, I got about 5% of the way through. There was not a single song.
No. I don't even... Because I attempted to read it when I was about 16 years old. I got about halfway through and got bored. And then for some reason I decided I'd try to read War and Peace.
Ooh.
And this one wasn't long enough.
No, that didn't go well either. And what did I try to read after that? Then I picked up Don Quixote.
You just wanted to read all the longest great novels from all the different languages.
And I didn't read that either. And then I stopped buying large books.
And then you were like, maybe I'll stick to some...
I still have all three of those books. They're still on the backlog. Unfortunately, they've stayed on the bottom of the backlog.
Yeah.
So books...
They're very heavy, yeah.
Not only that, they sync quite well. But any book that gets inserted into the backlog just gets inserted 3 positions up from the bottom. So that Les Mis... War and Peace and Don Quixote go further down.
Yeah. I think you should just accept that you're not going to read them. And
I don't want to admit the fact that I'm never going to read them because they're classics.
They're on my list.
I'll get there.
They're classic. Classics hold up.
There isn't enough hard drive space in the universe to hold an audiobook of Don Quixote.
I just don't think...
there is. They're really heavily compressed and they're in mono. It's fine. Don't worry.
I think we need to reevaluate some of these classics, though. Like... Or abridge them at least.
Well, are they classics just because, like, why are they classics?
Why? Well, I guess they were enjoyable for a longer period of time than other books.
I really hope there's no, like, literature people listening that are going to be like, well, you whippersnappers.
No, but there are.
So there are counterexamples, right, that
Yeah.
even I would agree with, because I enjoy different media for different reasons,
Of course,
right?
yes.
So, like, for example, Catch-22, one of my favourite books,
Great
right?
book.
Excellent book.
Great book.
I've watched the film, and I've watched the Amazon series that was done in the last year or so.
Yeah.
And, right, those were both worse for different reasons.
Yeah.
I feel as though you could do it as, like, a 50-episode series.
Yeah, it'd have to be quite detailed
Like-
because the book is very dense. It's
very dense.
It's not a very long book, if I recall. It's
not that long,
It's like
no.
400 pages,
Something
400 pages, something like that.
It's not very long, yeah.
but it's really dense. There's a lot that happens in that book. Yeah,
And a lot of the case I found in those adaptations, there'd be like some brilliant joke that went for like 4 pages of building and different
Yeah.
characters throwing their bit in.
which is reduced to a punchline,
And they would do like the first third of it and then a bit from the end
and
kind
then
of thing.
cut to the punchline. Yeah.
But
I haven't watched any adaptations of Catch-22, but I have read the book. I love that book.
I'm thinking, does anyone say the book of The Wizard of Oz is better than the film? I feel like the film has sort of supplanted the book.
The book wasn't even in colour.
I'm going to
Neither
make.
was the first half of the film.
I'm going to make an admission here.
Yes.
I haven't watched or read or consumed anything to do with The Wizard of Oz ever in my life.
I've seen Wicked, and that's about it.
Yeah. In fact, I've seen more modern-day adaptations, bad adaptations of Shakespeare films than I've seen anything to do with The Wizard of Oz. I saw a version of the Scottish play, which was set in a restaurant in the early 2000s in London. Somehow they turned that into... Yeah.
Okay, so we wanted to take over the restaurant?
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
I feel as though, like, to take over an entire country, like, to assume a throne may be worthy of murder. Or
Maybe.
regicide, I guess.
Yeah.
But, like, to take over a restaurant probably isn't.
Kill the head chef. Is there even a crime for that, or is it just normal murder?
Oh, is it like cheficide or something?
Cheficide, yeah. All right, that was dumb. So I've seen plenty of that kind of stuff.
But also Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Is anyone championing that book over the...
The book is great.
But the
book is
film
great.
is
The
also...
the Gene Wilder film
Is excellent, yeah.
Is excellent.
Yeah.
Right?
Have you read the sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Great Glass Elevator.
Yes.
No, I haven't.
That is a strange... I had this read to me as a child, and even then I was like, this is a bit... They go into space, and the elevator's like, there's some alien things trying to get in, and I'm like, where's the chocolate factory? We're going chocolate factory, and now you're drifting through space.
Where we're going, we don't need Chocolate Factory.
I'm like, this isn't the same thing anymore. This is a different story of a madman who kidnapped a kid in an elevator in space. I guess Grandpa Joe was there as well, but I don't know, it was weird. And I can sort of see why they never the film didn't follow that book into making a film adaptation of it as well.
But this is the thing, is that I enjoyed the Gene Wilder film and the book for completely different reasons.
So that's me with Master and Commander.
Yeah. For completely different reasons, right?
Yeah,
but I think
definitely.
overall I still preferred the book, especially considering it was one of the first... It was one of the first, like, novels, I guess, that I read as a kid.
It was one of the first films I had on VHS, so I'll fight you.
Yeah, right. After the show.
Yeah.
But, so I guess for me, maybe that's nostalgia. Maybe that's just because that book is really special to me. And I've actually read that book in 2 languages as well. I read that in Greek and English.
Oh, cool.
And so, yeah.
But you didn't read Don Quixote in Spanish or Les Mis in French?
Well, considering I struggled to read that comment from our, presumably Mexican friend, then no, I didn't read it in
difficult.
Spanish. Yeah, might be a bit hard.
Be troubling.
Yeah.
I've got one final quick example.
Yeah, go on.
One of my favourite video games is called Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl, right?
Great game.
Great game. It is loosely based on a Russian art house film that is loosely based on a book.
What's the something picnic? What's it called?
Roadside Picnic.
Roadside Picnic, yeah.
Yeah. So I've played the game, I've watched the film, and I've read the book.
Russian books translate awfully into English.
It wasn't, I didn't like it that much.
Russian books, because Russian is a very complicated language, but there's so much meaning hidden in just kind of like prefixes, suffixes, because, the language itself sort of encodes a lot of the meaning and context into like a single syllable. It doesn't translate well at all. I've read 3 translations, I've read a couple of translations of a bunch of classic Russian novels, Crime and Punishment, things like that. Wildly different. You know,
that was true with Les Mis as well. I had to look up, like various
the best
forum
translation.
threads, and they're like,
no,
her translation was better. No,
you got to go and research which translation you're going to read. I read Solzhenitsyn and Gulag Archipelago and Crime and Punishment and a couple of other Dostoevsky books. I've read a couple of different translations, and some were far better than others.
Yeah, true.
Kind of thing, yeah.
But I liked the film with whatever subtitles it came with. Russian can't be impossible, right?
No, but, you know, also the film itself is probably compared to the book and even the game, I suppose, is probably quite a bit.
And the games, you know, they're speaking in Ukrainian. That's a different.
That's another thing again.
Different.
Yeah, exactly.
In the film, one of the guys at one point starts quoting from the Tao Te Ching.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like reading English subtitles of a Russian person speaking in Russian from an originally Chinese text. And it was close enough that I was like, oh, that's that bit. Like, I actually know that bit.
That's like 4 layers of misdirection.
Yeah.
Well, remember that thing called Bad Translator?
I think so, yeah. It would just bounce back and forth a million languages.
So you would say, like, you know, I've got this sentence, and I'm starting in English, and I want you to end up in Greek, but go through 15 other languages.
Yeah.
And then it would just hit that. It would translate, you would go, you know, to Chinese, then it would get the result, then translate the Chinese to Russian, then translate the Russian to, you know, French, then translate the French. And it would just do this for as many languages as you wanted, and then spit out what you got at the end. And sometimes it was complete nonsense.
I had a friend in high school who did that. He put in Britney Spears' Hit Me Baby One More Time, and it came out as Strike the Child repeatedly.
Oh, no!
Strike the child repeatedly.
And I was like, it's more or less the same message.
This is some of the nuance.
Yeah, it's close enough. I mean, I'm gonna have to disagree.
No, but what
you admitted in your own, like you said, you like different media are good for different reasons.
The point you're making is that it's not a universal phrase.
My point that is, if you're allowed to judge my film as a book, I'm allowed to judge your book for not having surround sound and Russell Crowe.
Yeah, no, that I agree with. But I mean,
But that's what you said when you said narrative, right? You're saying I judge. I'm just judging based on the narrative.
Yeah.
I enjoy a film for many more reasons, and I think it's multimedia, right? The media can work together. Sound design is used to create atmosphere in a way that you can't do with text, right?
Yeah.
Text can get me in the character's head in a way that you might not be able to do in a film, right? I think different stories suit different mediums, and everyone just needs to chill out. Except me.
I need to, yes, you do, but you need to chill out the most. I should clarify that for me, narrative is like 90% of the enjoyment, right? I care very little about, unless the film itself is, look, there are certain films which you go to watch, right? It's a spectacle. It's an action movie. It's a whatever. You go there to see the pretty explosions and the cool graphics and whatever. Fine. I'm all right with that. But in general, I consume media for narrative, right? So I play heavily story-based games. I read, you know, extremely heavily sort of narrative books. Not like, you know, don't get me wrong, I enjoy my action page turners as well. But in general, for me, the enjoyment is all in the narrative. So I compare books, films, etc., almost entirely on the story. So in that sense, I disagree with you. But as far as not being able to compare them, agreed.
I really enjoy atmosphere, right? So I feel as though,
if I
can't hear the soundtrack, if I can't hear the Foley and everything, like,
I agree. If there's a film and I can't hear it, that's a bad film.
That's a bad thing, yeah.
The text comes up on screen, look out! Yeah.
Well, have you ever tried watching a film with closed captions? It's miserable. I really feel sorry. Yeah.
A friend of mine years ago popped in The Exorcist and chucked on the director commentary. And it starts off, you know, they're in the desert, and he's like, you know, lots of people have asked me why I put this scene in the film, and I'm going to tell you why. And he goes through and explains, and we're like, this is, you know, pretty insightful commentary. But then, after a while, it just turned into him telling you what was happening on the screen. And she's like, now she's heard a noise in the attic. And so she's going up because, you know, she wants to see what the noise is. And she's a little spooked because the flashlight has stopped working. I'm like, what? This isn't commentary. Well, it is in the very strictest sense, but
yeah.
I'm getting no insight from this.
Part of me really hopes that it was a really gradual transition, and it was like the it's like the Monopoly game that goes all night. It's like an abstract joke.
Yeah, the whole thing's just a bit. Yeah. It's just like, it's a 2 and a bit hour film, And you've started off thinking you're getting something with additional value here, but by the end of this, you'll be tearing your own hair.
And then at the end, it's like, and the director of photography was Michael.
Just reading the credits as they come up the screen.
And people have wanted to know who is the cinematographer, and that was Peter Jones.
And Tom Smith over here, nice guy, lent me $50 once.
We'll never make all that money back.
So this is the menu here. You select what you want to watch on the menu, and then you.
Have you guys ever noticed? Very occasionally, you'll see really lazy closed captions. So, for example, you'll watch a big budget film, whatever, and for some reason someone needs the captions on, right? And a piece of music starts, and you'll get a nice descriptor. Obviously, it's difficult to describe music to someone who can't hear it, but you'll get something like, intense, heavy, driving rock music, something like that.
Yeah.
But then occasionally you just get music plays. Right?
Yeah, I know.
In other films, you'll just get, or even less than that, just square brackets music. Right?
Triumphant music swells.
Well,
versus there's some music
better
here.
Than music, right? There should be laws around this, right? No, it's ridiculous. I mean, you're unfortunate enough to be deaf or hard of hearing. You can't. How do you enjoy that when it's just like music? It could be anything. They could say music. It could be like a big battle going on. The pink elephant dance or walk or whatever it's called. It might as well be, right?
The baby elephant walk.
Baby elephant walk. Yeah. I'm thinking of Dumbo. That scene where he does the peace pipe. But anyway, shall we?
Yes.
I think we call that one. Here. Oh, we said we'd forget to say it.
Oh, that's all right.
Here. Who's doing the next one?
It's me, and I don't have long.
Oh, because I got short ones if you want short ones instead.
You want to do a short one instead?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go with one of yours.
All right. So we had a pretty classy item number 4. That was a classy topic.
That was quite classy.
I want to keep the class going.
That was item number 3, by the way.
Oh, was it? Yes, it was. We're not supposed to swear on the show.
No.
Is shite a swear word?
Yes.
Why?
But not in Australia.
Why is it?
I've often I've often run into this thing where it's just like, I have a word, it's a funny word, everybody's going to laugh if I say this word, but technically it's probably a swear word.
But what makes a swear word? You can't just...
The swear word is made by the reaction to the word, I think. Is it?
I think it's a cultural thing. It's about buy-in.
Yeah, basically it's a cultural thing, right? It's basically, if the people around you agree that it's a swear word, then it's a swear word. So this is like your salad crap, right?
Well, that's a swear word.
Yeah, okay.
Crap is a swear word.
Yes, okay.
I think it's a radio-friendly
I've got it.
What?
If it's allowed on prime time?
But I was looking up, I Googled, is shite a swear word? And there's examples of people going, oh, the morning radio guy used it 4 times without bleeping.
Well, actually, these days they allow the F word on prime time, but I think it's rate limited.
I think you can have 1 or something.
It's like 1 or 2 an hour.
But but this I don't know. To me, it seems like it's not it's an invented word. If I chuck an R in the middle of the F word, is that suddenly now...
Is fruck a swear word?
That's what I want to know.
No.
You're playing with fire.
It isn't. I'm sorry. I just made that up. If somebody thinks...
I just made that up.
Well, he just made that up. Well, no, you made up the conditions for it. I made up the word.
Well, you sounded the word out from the spelling.
I could have put the R somewhere else. That made it sound a lot closer. Yeah, a lot closer to the real word.
No,
okay.
I thought dead in the middle.
Whatever you do, don't put it between the C and the K, though. That sounds bad. It just sounds like the F word with a rook at the end.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, I don't know. Well, look, I think shite is probably one, but it's a comedy one. It's the one you can get away with.
But then, if you can get away with it, is it still a swear? Because a swear word is taboo.
Sure. Well, that's what I'm saying, I don't think it's taboo anymore.
Well, then I don't think it's a swear word.
Well, sure, I can agree with that. I'll put it this way, I wouldn't really ever hold myself back from saying shite. I would say shite around old people.
But would you take the E off the end of shite?
No, not depending on the people I was around.
That would dramatically change the word.
That dramatically changes the word.
It's still the same. It refers to the same thing,
know.
though.
Well, it makes the I a short I, not a long one, and that's all the difference we need.
Yeah, it's too punchy without the E on the end.
But they're synonyms, though.
It slaps you in the face, yeah. Look, I agree with you in that sense, right? But I think it really just comes down to what you can get away with.
I think
let me give you a really good one, a really good example, right? So I like to use the phrase "no wuckin' forries."
Yes,
a lot.
That's a great one.
Now, that's the kind of phrase that neither of those are swear words, but we all know what I'm saying, right? Now, I use this at work, and it gets a laugh, right? And however, I once used it around an older lady, and there was a pause before I got the laugh. And I was just like, okay, I might be towing the line here with this one, right? But, strictly speaking, that's fine. So, I mean, given that, shite is likely to be a corruption of the other word we can't say on the radio.
It's so arbitrary.
Which actually you said twice last week.
And I should not have.
You should not have. Yeah.
We had a week break, I forgot.
Yeah.
I think you tried to use a synonym defense, and I want to attack it.
Yeah, go on.
The synonym relation does not preserve swearness.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, as in...
I want to try to give examples.
As in, you can say poo, but you can't say...
Well, exactly, yeah.
Poo on the radio, yeah.
Well,
probably.
Right. So
hopefully.
the reason I
you can definitely say poo.
Look, I'll reveal the curtain. The reason I said synonym, because I wanted to use homophone or... there was one of the ones.
Homophone is ones that sound the same but spell different. Homonym is spelled the same, sound different, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, homonyms are spelt the same as another word.
So there's another one. I saw a big Venn diagram once, and it had all the
homophones, homonyms. Yeah, right. Yeah,
homobles.
I
don't know. There was a lot of them, and
horological. Let's just start. Start with the H words.
I was scared, and I went with synonym.
You can't be scared.
Tony. I was shite scared.
I was shite scared.
As shite.
Shiteless.
Yes, I was scared.
We're really pushing our luck.
This is either going to be completely fine, or the show's going to get pulled.
Yeah. But this may be our last episode.
But this is the thing with swearing. And I've always had a problem with the idea of a swear word or a taboo word, and I've always thought it's the context. I think gorilla can be a terrible word used in the wrong context.
Almost any word can be used poorly.
Egg?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
I'm not so sure about egg. What about lettuce?
Listen, I'm not playing a game. This isn't a game.
Resplendent.
Right? I said almost. All right, I'm going to leave. I'll let you guys finish the show. No, you're right. But I think
egg would be hard to use. Yeah, but
look, put it this way: I heard someone use the word nugget as an insult once. So anything.
But did they have shite before that?
What, shite nugget?
Yeah.
No, but that's a good one. I'm going to use it. But look. Honestly, I've heard someone get called an egg as an insult. I've heard crumb. I've heard nugget. I've heard spoon. All of these have been used as insults.
But you can insult. There's nothing wrong with insulting.
But an insult theoretically is taboo, right?
No, I don't think so. Swearing and insulting exist in two different...
They are two different things.
Yeah. But I think we should, as a society, the door is closed on... We should have no new swear words coming in.
Why?
Because they're a silly concept and we should be getting beyond that.
Look, we're going to go over time. I personally don't... Unless there's a situation where I need to actually care, I don't consider the words that I use in as far as whether they're swear words or not, right? I just talk however it comes naturally, kind of thing. But there are times where you have to be careful, and that's purely a social construct. It
shouldn't just be the words. So
there's an interesting, economy of thought going on here, where if I wanted my swear words to really land and to have them really have impact, I would... believe that they are taboo, I would play that up. And try to convince people.
You'd have to convince people that they're bad words. Yeah.
Yeah, but...
So start inventing swear words.
No more swear words.
and then go and
All new words should not be swear, because they're new. Swear words existed. We were told the swear words. We don't invent the swear words.
Someone did, though.
Someone did.
All words are invented.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but that's past problem. We don't have to operate the same as the past.
I'm cutting you guys off. This will go forever. This is going to go all night.
I might have to revive this topic.
I thought you said this was going to be a short topic.
I thought it was.
Not only was it only a 4-topic episode, The short topic in the end put us over time. We're killing all the tropes of the show today.
All right, I've been esteemed guest,
Esteemed guest and listener, George.
and correspondent.
Actually, I should have written esteemed guest on the label, not esteemed listener.
Well, yeah, you can't. You're not a listener if you're here participating.
It's true, but everybody knows him as esteemed listener.
Me
George.
eavesdropping on the disembodied voices of another apartment, that's a listener.
That's true.
When I barge into the apartment and go, what's going on? Now I'm a guest.
I've actually transformed the artistic medium of the show to an interactive experience for myself.
You really have.
So here's a tip, listeners. Just get on the shows
Yeah,
you like.
just show up. Show up. It makes
Just
the
send
show
them
more
one or
fun.
two
Yeah,
emails
exactly.
every
You
now
like
and then.
Hamish and Andy's show? Go on it. It's
Yeah.
much more entertaining when you're there.
It's much more fun if you're actually on the show.
Gonzo podcast guesting.
You're probably more likely to get on this show than Hamish and Andy.
yeah, we're
Probably.
Well,
Who are they? I don't bother listening to them.
Here's the
I
thing.
listen to the good stuff.
Yeah, anyway. But, we do have a vetting process, so, good luck. But, yeah. Any updates for anyone? I mean, probably not George, but have you got anything for us?
no, haircut watch hasn't kicked
Yeah,
off.
no, I
You
still
haven't?
haven't had that haircut.
You predicted,
2 weeks ago, I know.
I think it was more than that.
I was thinking the
Was
other
it the
day
first
of
show
the
back,
watch
yeah.
situation.
Yeah. Do you
'Cause I was-
remember our watches? Because we don't.
I think, yeah, so there was Bluetooth watch.
Yes.
There was haircut
hang on.
watch.
Sorry, what were we watching with Bluetooth?
To see whether
Whether it kept working.
it kept working. Yeah,
and
yeah.
And it didn't.
No, it
Right,
didn't.
so we can scrap that.
Well,
why do we
yeah,
need to keep
success,
watching?
success.
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, all right.
So
Bluetooth watches.
there was another one, ad watch.
Oh,
to see whether we got any
Whether you
ads.
got
Yeah.
ads.
That's still
I
going.
propose a fourth, watch,
where
where we keep track of how many additional watches come up and whether any are cancelled.
No, hang on. We had 5 watches.
There could well have been more watches.
No, but even
There was like-
even the esteemed listener doesn't know.
Wasn't there dating
if he
watch or
doesn't know,
something?
what,
yeah, there was
look,
another
if he
watch.
doesn't know what we're watching, what hope have we got?
Yeah, we got no hope.
All right, I've been Thanasi,
I've been Tony.
I've been esteemed listener / guest George.
and this has been the Hidden Agenda. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you again next week.
Yeah, sure.
Bye bye. Thanks for coming, George.